And then
The best performance for me was Joshua.
if you look like an Inoue or somebody like that, where they step in, step out, the punches,
Fantastic boxing skills, knockout, drama.
you couldn't knock him out, but, and maybe a good lesson to learn.
Wallin was surprised at how powerful AJ was.
He's not at the top tier of the heavyweights.
Well, he's got that typical German, East European style.
Because I think Bivol was trying to get him out.
What an
It's quite
event.
Okay, welcome back to BoxCast. Day of Reckoning, Simon. What did you think?
What an event. What an event.
I think first apologies for our timing, because I think we were a few hours out.
Yeah, I think
it
we
started
said
at 4 o'clock
UK
time, and I think we said 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah, apologies for that. I think it caught a few people off guard, actually.
And some of those early fights went quite quick. A blink and you miss.
Yeah. No, it was an absolutely fantastic event. Seen online a few people were slating it, saying it wasn't worth the money. $19.99
for 8 fights. It's a bargain. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 you could say aren't top headline hits, but realistically, I think most of them are. They're either upcoming or people who are there.
It had upsets, fantastic boxing skills, knockout, drama. It was everything I wanted it to be. So, yeah, I loved it. I want there to be another one.
Yeah, I think if it'd be good if it continues, if we can have those events, maybe in different weight classes and different things. I think it was a great show.
Yeah, before we move on to the fight, my only worry is, could the Saudis kill boxing?
In what way? What's your...
No, these lads would have been paid a lot of money to fight there.
I would presume so.
Sometimes the problem you have then is their next fight, if it's not in Saudi, it's going to be...
They're not getting paid the same amount.
No, and they just can then go, no, I'm not fighting for that. And does that ruin then... is that then everyone is going to be waiting? Oh, well, wait for the Saudis to make an offer and see who they offer us to fight. That's my only worry with this, is it could ruin boxing worldwide in the likes of the UK and America, because some boxers might just, your bigger
want
names,
to just fight over there.
They could just be saying, oh, let's wait, see if the Saudis can come up with something. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully what's happened is all these promoters have come together, they've all got on, they've made fights, and hopefully now they can just sit.
Well, I think the thing I liked is that it's the different TV networks have come together, the media networks have come together, the different promoters have come together, and we've seen fights that may not have happened otherwise. So I'm hoping that instead of being like a bad thing, I hope it's a good thing that kicks the others.
Yeah, I do.
Going, well, we should be working together.
Yeah, I really do hope
in Vegas. I think UK we've been better, but especially in Vegas and America side, there's always oh no, he's on that network. He's on the other network. It's not going to happen. And we've had delays in these fights that every fan wants to see.
I just urge the fighters, don't just think about the money. Don't get me wrong, you've got to get paid well to step in a boxing ring, but don't price yourself way out of it. Keep getting them. Us as the public and the fans, we want to see the best fights. And you'll get the views on whether it be pay-per-view, terrestrial television, whatever. Just don't wait for them massive paydays.
I hope they don't go to ruin it, but I think
Yeah.
the way they've done it and the type of fights we got, I think that was a worthwhile event, and hopefully they continue. But as part of the bigger boxing scene, not just as
that was my only worry,
point.
but other than that, I loved it. I want to go. You should take me.
We could if
definitely
if
take
we could have
me.
gone, we would have done.
No, it was, I just loved it. I was great. I was glued to my phone. I was watching it on my phone, on the zone. I just loved every single fight. Well, apart from one fight, all the others I loved. I absolutely loved it. Pretty much went the way I expected for most of the fights, in the way of victories, but not the way of they happened.
The performances were different.
Yeah. A lot of people stepped up.
Yeah.
Hell of a lot of people stepped up. Stepped up their levels and proved that
It was good.
they're the ones to watch. Yeah.
So which side? We're going to start from the first fight, or should we go top down or bottom up?
Oh, should we go top to bottom?
Go on then. AJ's back. Would it be good to say that your fave fanboy is happy?
Oh, man. AJ's not back. AJ's never gone. He just needed a little bit of training.
I think that version of AJ hasn't been around for a little while.
For me,
I think that version of AJ was there in the second Usyk fight, but Usyk was just too good. I think against Helenius, he's a little bit tentative. But I think this version was like, I don't think it's back. I think there was the fire of the old AJ with like the controlled boxing skills that he sort of matured. So it was a good version of AJ where you can see him, you know, he can cause damage to people around that.
Do you know what it was? He
thing.
was happy.
Mm-hmm.
He was happy.
I think he was relaxed because he didn't get involved in any of the banter.
Didn't get involved
with
in
the
nothing.
other people.
He looked happy. He
was composed.
Dangerous. He looked like he wanted to hurt him.
And he did.
He stuck to his game plan, really. Shout out to Ben Davidson. Fantastic game plan. And let's not forget, Otto Wallin was a live opponent. He was on a great run. Mm-hmm. Pushed Tyson Fury 12 rounds in a really close fight.
Yeah.
Beat Mario Gassiev.
Who's the up-and-coming and one of our favourite people.
You know, so let's not, before people jump on, who's Otto Wallin? Otto Wallin was all right when he was fighting Tyson Fury.
Undefeated other than Tyson Fury. And even that was a very, very close fight.
So don't start slating AJ.
As we think we said in our preview.
He was clinical, AJ, for me. Absolutely clinical.
I think that's the way you should box. It wasn't the gung-ho, but it was like controlled gung-ho, you know, controlled beatdown. And he just wore him out. And
what impressed me the most about him was his speed. He looks like he's got faster throwing them punches. But I think I tell you what it was, it's because he's stepping in.
I think his footwork's got better.
His footwork was superb.
He's stepping into range and stepping out of range. I think he's always had the speed, but the thing is, it wasn't in like a controlled way of speed. I think now he's got like that. If you look like an Inoue or somebody like that, where they step in, step out, the punches.
Yeah, I think he's
got it more controlled. Yeah, it looks faster.
He looks faster because he's stepping in with the punches, and obviously because he's stepping in with the punches, he's getting more power.
I don't think he's overloading them. He's snapping them.
Yeah. Well, but you know, to generate power, you get speed. With speed, you generate power.
Yeah, I think it's more that than him planting down on his feet. Yeah. I think what he's done is switched from planting down and then having those punches and waiting for the space.
Yeah.
He's more systematic and, like you said, generating the speed, step in, step out, so that motion is giving him the snap.
I don't know whether I did like it, but he had Wallin hurt in the fourth, fifth.
I actually like his discipline.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know whether I liked it or disliked it. He kind of went in.
As a casual viewer, you wanted him to go, but I was thinking, actually, not for this fight, but for his longer term thing, you want to see that control.
It's kind of like he went to rush in and went, hold on, last time I did this, I got clipped on the top of the head by Ruiz.
Ben said, don't do this.
Yeah. So he put a bit of pressure on, realised he wasn't ready yet, and then went back to his jab was beautiful. And
he's
his
always
body
had a good
punching.
job. The thing is, I think sometimes he's, like you said, they throw the game plan out the window for whatever reason.
Good stoppage in your opinion? I like
that he was.
Yeah,
I liked his performance. I think.
Yeah, for me it was performance of the night for me. For skill level, there were some better victories that night, but for performance, he didn't put a foot wrong. He was clinical. We did everything.
I think for the result, I think
we wanted him to do.
It depends how you define it. I think for him, an overall thing, I think it was just good to see him back. It's what he should.
Yeah.
Oh, before his upset, you would have expected him to do that. But I think this is like a more clinical version of his old version.
Yeah.
So it's not like old AJ is back. What I liked is that it's an improved version of AJ, but he's got that fire, that thing to do.
He seemed to knock the confidence out of Wallin within about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
He caught Wallin with a couple of shots.
Which Fury never did in this whole fight.
Caught Wallin with a couple of shots, and Wallin just went, nah, not having this. Then what Wallin, because I think they fought in the amateurs and they've sparred together. And I think Wallin was surprised at how powerful AJ was, and then just went, no, I'm not. I don't like this. I think AJ he broke his nose.
I think it helped AJ that they fought before, so you know the styles, and then he's evolved his style a little bit.
Like I say, I think AJ broke his nose. I think his orbital bone. I think he might have cracked a couple of ribs as well. Yeah, we wanted to see the knockout. You always want to see someone flat on the back. It's the boxing game, but
especially heavyweight.
I know. I think the corner and Otto didn't. He wasn't complaining when the corner pulled him out, was he? Let's be honest.
I think it was a good time.
Yeah,
good decision.
I think the next round. What we've got to remember is, what's Joshua 19 stone, 18, 19 stone. He can hurt you.
250-ish, isn't he, pounds? So he's big.
And so I think the next round
But I think this is his the balance he's got there, because he's been heavier and he's been lighter. I don't think it's much chance of him getting much lighter. But I think this is the balance between, he had that snap, the movement, the snap. He didn't gas out, and but he's still got the power. I think when he's messed around with his weight before, I think that's hurt his performances.
Do you think the Ben Davidson in his corners helped?
Yes, definitely.
Would you keep him?
Yes, definitely.
What I found interesting was Ben Davidson said he wants the Usyk rematch because he's got a game plan for Joshua to win. That I found interesting. But I think as it stands, Joshua's next fight, we'll discuss that because this brings us on to...
Well, the disappointing performance of the night. Shall we do that next?
Yeah, because I think...
Man called Deontay Wilder.
I think all plans is Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua was signed, sealed, and nearly delivered.
Yeah, because he's ruined it now.
Yeah, and after the AJ Wallin fight, it was going to be a head-to-head in the ring. AJ Wilder, we've announced the fight, and it's going to be on this date. I think that was all set in stone, signed. But as we have said for quite a long time, Deontay Wilder cannot box and got his arse handed to him. Excuse the language. Fantastic. Not fantastic.
I think it's a really good performance by Joseph Parker.
Extremely disciplined performance.
Yeah, he didn't go over the top. He didn't go over too much. I would say I think Deontay Wilder's better than that, but he's lost his fire. I think it's gone. And I said that when I seen their interview together before. I expected Parker to be like coy, but Wilder was just way too nice from his normal self. Now, I know he's been mouthing off in some of the others because he was trying to... I think he's a bit overlooked the fight. Been looking at the Joshua fight, whereas I think Joshua was focused on Wallin, and he hasn't got involved in that. Obviously, with the big fight with Wilder, and Wilder's just lost his fire. I think it was gone. It hasn't been there for a bit, I think. And he's ring rusty. He hasn't fought for a long time.
One round, 30 seconds in 2 years. I think I did say Parker would win anyway.
Yeah.
I wasn't shocked that Parker won, because I've always said any decent boxer will...
But Parker got his fire back. Yeah. He's been missing because
he has been missing. The fire
he had before AJ, I think he's got that back.
I think Andy Lee is a fantastic trainer. And I think
whatever they've trained him...
Yeah, Andy Lee's a fantastic strategist. Parker... But like I say, I've never rated Deontay Wilder as a boxer. I think every fight you look at him, he's always been behind on the scorecard.
He's never really been a boxer. He catches you.
He's got a fantastic right hand. There's no denying that he has. And it can knock anyone out on the planet. But like I say, any half-decent boxer with a decent trainer's come up with a game plan, you'll beat Wilder fairly easily. You've just got to stay away from that right hand. What did disappoint me about Wilder is he's the biggest puncher in the heavyweight division.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed on the back foot the whole fight.
It wasn't his normal performance.
You're the biggest puncher in the division. You can knock anyone out. You don't be a counter puncher.
Yeah, I don't think it was a proper Deontay Wilder performance.
You don't be.
Because if you've seen him in his fights before, other than but even with Fury, he caught Fury. He did box. There was rounds. He won.
I mean,
he's always behind on scorecard, but he normally wins a few rounds.
His arms are what, about 7'5" long?
Probably longer than that. Yeah.
Why isn't he using his left hand jab?
He does. He uses it to range find and then puts a few of those big right hands through.
I think
he didn't start till he was about the 9th round or something.
Until he was about. Because
till he was about basically down like nearly 7 or 8 rounds.
I had a total. I gave Parker every single round.
I think most people did.
I mean, even at the end, he was celebrating like he won.
Because Parker didn't do that much, but I think he was just by then he thought, I've won enough rounds here, I'm ahead. So we'll just be cautious because there's no need to.
Parker nearly got him out of there.
Yeah,
nearly got him out of there.
Opened up, didn't he?
It seems to be the more Wilder opened up, Parker was catching him more. I'd say the first round I was like, oh no, because I don't think any of them threw a punch for like 2 minutes 20 seconds or something, and I was like, please don't let this be the whole of the fight. Please. And it wasn't.
You can understand Parker's cautiousness.
Yeah, it's an exciting
what
fight.
Wilder didn't do.
It's an exciting fight because you're expecting any time Wilder's going to land the right hand.
Yeah.
But the more the fight went on,
the chance became less and less.
It wasn't just that. I was thinking, Parker's going to get him out of here.
Yeah.
Parker's going to get him out of here. But even when
I think Wilder's got a better chin than most people, really, because there's a couple of them when he showed where he got a good chin.
What he does is he rolls his head, doesn't he?
He doesn't get caught cleanly, but he got a couple of big hits from Parker. And
Parker's a bit, he does pack a punch.
Parker's 250 pounds as well. He's a big.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wilder's corner didn't have any urgency.
I think that's where the bigger problem lies.
They didn't.
Whether they know he's just so nice, he didn't seem to have, and the corner never gave him any.
No, I mean Wilder's corner, I thought. Because obviously,
we're awful.
Yeah, you want to be screaming at him, mate. You need
slapping him on his face. Yeah. What the hell are you doing here?
You are 10 rounds down, or however many rounds down. You need to go and put this guy away. And it didn't seem like Wilder ever was going to do that.
There was 2 disappointing performances, I think, from people who you expected to do better. I think his was the biggest disappointment.
Was it?
Of any of the of any of the people there, from what he can do.
Yeah.
And the thing is this, if the fire's gone, he needs to stop fighting. Because there's no point, because there's only... The thing he had was that big right hand and the fire. And if you haven't got the fire, you ain't got the will to land, hurt the other guy with your big right hand. What's there? You got nothing else there.
I mean, and he's 38.
So it's like, how are you going to get it back?
He's not a young man anymore, is he? He looks like, don't get me wrong, he's
in immaculate shape.
He's in immaculate shape. He sounds
Apart from his noodle legs.
Sounds like a family man.
He's really nice. It's great to see him being nice.
Great.
But not for a boxing match.
It's not the Wilder we're used to, is it?
There's no fire in his eyes.
And after his interview afterwards, it sounded like a retirement speech.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm happy.
I've been on ayahuasca. Yeah, I've been at the trips. I'm there. I'm happy. Mate, retire then. You've made enough money. Retire.
You should not be happy and content with that performance. You really, really shouldn't.
I think calling a performance is a detriment. But it does not match the word performance.
I'm not going to take anything away from Joseph Parker.
I think that was
Andy Lee.
Big recovery
because I have to give Andy Lee a lot of props as well. Because I think they've come up with a great game plan. Andy Lee, total opposite in the corner with Joseph Parker, was calm, collective, giving
they had the game plan. They stuck to the game plan and went
nice, clear instructions, which is what Wilder's team were doing. But the Wilder's team should have had urgency and things. No,
I think there was just a plan A. Is he's going to hit him with the right hand, and there's nothing else.
It put Parker right back in the mix. And let's not forget, Parker's a former WBO or WBA champion.
He's a champion.
and he's still a young man for a heavyweight. He's got a few good wins now. That one's a massive win. In people's opinion, it's a massive win. In my opinion, it's not a massive win because I've never rated Deontay Wilder.
I think it's a massive win from a point of view,
not
of a boxing thing. I think from confidence, because you've beaten a big name, one of the four horsemen.
And I'd say he's done a better job on Wilder than Fury did.
I would say so.
But
I don't think that's the same Wilder that fought Fury.
Or is it because I don't know.
And Fury's already shown the roadmap of how to beat him, because there's other people who performed well against him. But he just put Dominic Brazil in one of them football. He just catches him.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at Ortiz, I think
battered him twice and got knocked out. And you could see the disappointment on his face. It's just been caught again. And in the first fight, he nearly had him out of there.
So for me, Wilder is out. Bye-bye.
Unless he gets his fire back, there's no point of him being in the conversation.
Yeah, he's always got that name and he's got that big right hand. But for me, he's out. Take him out the heavyweight scene. Your heavyweight, you've got Joshua Parker. Like I say, Parker is right back up there. He could have some massive fights now, Parker.
Well, I think once the three, there's the big guys, then there's Joshua's back on that list as the next one up. And then they're the three old horsemen. Wilder's out unless he gets his fire back.
Who do you want to see Parker fight next? I'll throw a name at you and you'll go, oh yeah.
Go on then.
Joe Joyce.
Yeah.
Because Joe Joyce knocked him out.
I think get his revenge then. That'll get him back onto, yeah.
Because the good fight for Joe Joyce, for a build yourself back up. Because if you beat Parker,
you're back in the mix.
And let's be honest, Parker's just beat one of the main guys.
Yeah.
And if you beat Parker, you are straight back in the mix. And for Parker, it's redemption.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that could be next.
Mm-hmm.
Both promoted by Frank Warren.
Well, I think Parker's got other options. I don't think there's that many other options for Joe Joyce.
No, there's no options for Joe Joyce.
So if they want to get him back to mix, if he wants to stay in it, the problem is now people have shown that the chin can be hurt. And, there's options there to do.
Interesting, but Parker, there's a few good fights for Parker now.
Parker's got options. I think he's not at the top level yet. I think he needs to go, because that was a disappointing performance from Wilder. Because the obvious fight would be Joshua, but they've already had that and it doesn't make sense.
It was a bore fest, let's be honest.
So, and then there's any of the other upcoming ones, isn't it? So does that move us on to Dubois and Miller?
I'm so happy Dubois won that,
And I like the way it was done, because Dubois started strong. Miller came into it because he took the punches and he's trying to get him to gas out. He came back into it. Then I like the fact that Dubois got his, because I thought Dubois was going to go down. Then I'll be honest, I was thinking this is turning now. Dubois, has he got anything else, a plan B or anything else? And then I like the fact he got a second wind, and then took back over again. Basically, there's a little bit where he wasn't losing, but it was like 50-50. He was the better fighter. It was 50-50 for a few rounds. And then I thought, is Miller's plan working here? And then near the end, it was Miller who was gassing out, and Dubois got him out of it.
I think it was I think in the second round, Dubois, I seen him trying to push Miller, and I was thinking, what are you doing? This guy's worth 320 pounds, 330 pounds, and you're pushing him. But the energy that is taking.
Well, that's what he was doing in the first few rounds, and you're just thinking,
what are you doing?
And his corner told him,
what are you doing? And I think that's why I gassed that. He spent so much energy. I mean, Miller's back is what me and you plus another me.
Plus another person, yeah.
His back, he made the ring look tiny. He is a mountain of a man.
Yeah.
And he can take some good shots because Dubois did hit him with some. But, and I hate to bring it up, this guy has been banned from the sport for steroids. He's mouthy, he's gobby, he's disrespectful.
Another word for that is entertaining.
Yeah, he is entertaining, but I'm glad he got beat.
See, I like to dislike him, but at the end, he was actually pretty composed and the better man won. It was a good fight. All the things proper respectful. So I'm a little bit softer on him now then. But I'm glad that Dubois won.
And I know
I think it closes that chapter.
Yeah, it closed the chapter and everyone's raving about Dubois. My big thing is Jarrell Miller actually any good though?
Yeah, it depends how you measure good. As a boxer, I think his game plan was to gas him out.
Yeah.
Big puncher. He can take the punches
and
then finish him off afterwards.
In the past 5 years, who's Jarrell Miller actually fought?
How long has he been banned? So,
it's
a good performance from Dubois as a getting confidence back, and he coped with adversity.
Yeah, and he knocked him out.
And it's a big guy. He's obviously got strength because he, like you said, he was pushing him around. Not the smartest thing to do, but still it shows that he's not going to get bullied. And it's a good stepping stone back for him because I think he stepped too far before. He's gone up against opponents who are. I think Joe Joyce was unlucky because he couldn't knock him out, but and maybe a good lesson to learn. And he got injured, which is not the great thing, but we've seen that Joe Joyce now can be, and I think Dubois was always a better boxer than Joe Joyce. But I think Usyk was just a step too far.
Yeah, I think what it did for Dubois is because obviously everyone has labelled him a quitter,
and he didn't quit.
He had to dig deep in there. He really did. I'm not going to take nothing away from him from that.
He's back in the mix.
Yeah, it wasn't a boxing
mix.
It's hard to judge saying it's always great boxing because Miller
wasn't great boxing.
Because Miller wasn't hard to hit really.
It was it's determination, it's grit. It's not. It's not quitting.
He had to bite down on his gum shield.
Yeah. No, he boxed quite well, but we always known Dubois got a good boxer, and we know he's got power.
Yeah, he's a big lad, isn't he?
The fact that he's not gassed out, even though he was starting to gas out, and he's got a second wind.
It was a bit like
he didn't give up and just wilt.
Yeah, it was a bit like how Joshua did against Klitschko. He did that 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds. He just looked like he was spent, and then
came back.
That second wind's come back. Does it put him back in the mix? Yeah, I suppose it does.
I think he's back in the mix the second year, but I think he needs a few more fights.
Don't throw
this. Don't go right in with somebody.
No, please don't.
Any of the monsters at the top. Because I don't think he's ready.
Go and throw him. Because if you look at, I'd say European champion, but there was a European champion fighting that night who would say takes care of the ball quite easily.
Yeah. He needs more experience. There's talent there.
What is he? He's 25 years of age.
He needs a couple of years of.
Go and have a couple of months rest because he's had quite a few fights now in the past 12 months. Go and get back in the gym. His confidence will be sky high now.
That's what I mean. It's the best thing for him.
Don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Go and get him a couple of easy fights. Give him a bit more confidence, but not too easy. A couple of tests.
Tricky, but things where he needs to overcome.
Someone like do you know what? Like an Otto Wallin or Jermaine Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
Someone that's good. It's going to test you.
I think somebody's been around who's got experience and then he can bounce experience off. But that he should be able to beat.
Don't throw him straight in with someone like Zhile Zhang, is what I'm saying.
It's not a good idea.
Do not do that.
No, I think Zhang is at the top table. Zhang is like a competitor for Joshua and people like that. I think he's there. And one or two of the other ones we're going to come on to, I think, are in that conversation. I think Parker still needs another good fight to build up. But I think Joyce is a good call. Because obviously there's Andrew Ruiz who isn't there either, who's handy, would be a good opponent for a few people. So yeah, I think Dubois needs building up and going there. Miller, well, hopefully it's the end and we don't need to worry about him. He is entertaining. He does make it a thing. He's good to have around, but I'm not sure what he actually adds. I don't think he's not at the top tier of heavyweights. He's a good middle of the road guy to have for the entertainment value. Not sure for boxing value. The next man, maybe one of the other big questions, Hrgovic.
This is the only fight that disappointed me.
Have you seen him smile? Wow, I thought he was just had the same facial expression as we've said before. He was actually quite happy and interesting.
This is the one fight that really disappointed me. Mark the Mira or Moira. What the hell was he doing on that night?
Not much.
Do you know what? He shouldn't have been allowed to fight there. And that's the one thing. The only criticism I'll give the day reckoning is
he was the other disappointing guy.
That guy is a white collar boxer at best, and should not have been in the ring.
Not with a guy like Hrgovic.
No, he shouldn't have been nowhere near him. And that, like I say, I think.
Well, I think you messaged me that anyway. You were like, I'm disappointed.
My words were absolute joke. Should not have been on the card. Disgrace. He's worse than a journeyman. And I can't judge Hrgovic from it. So
he expected him to win. He won. He did his duty. He smiled. I'm happy to see him smile. That's it.
I mean,
Hrgovic, we already know.
Did you actually? I mean, Demora just turned his back and went, "No, I don't want any more. Please stop it."
Hrgovic is a different class level to him.
It's just
there was nothing to be learned from that fight other than Mark Mori didn't belong there.
No, Mark Mori does not belong in a boxing ring with any of the top 50
and Hrgovic
heavyweights.
Is what we think he is. He's good.
But what it does is Hrgovic is still mandatory for the IBF, which obviously all Alexander Usyk's hold.
Hrgovic is in the same as Zhang, same as Joshua, that category of they're the top tier of those. I think Parker still needs a little bit more to get there.
I think
because Wilder wasn't. Wilder's out of that equation.
What it does though is for the likes of Hrgovic and AJ, they won't be fighting. I don't think.
It doesn't make much
soon.
sense to fight each other. It doesn't make much sense for Joshua to really fight Zhang either at this point.
No, because you've got to wait and see what happens with the belts.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the belts become fragmented after the fight,
that's when they all need to go at it.
Then it is pretty much Hrgovic versus AJ for the IBF title. Mm-hmm. We know AJ wants to become a three-time world champion. Do you risk Hrgovic and AJ? Do you risk putting them in other fights before that? Because they're going to have to be quite meaningful fights.
Well, I think if they get fragmented, do you think that they could go for one each? Because it'd be cool for Joshua to go up against somebody good to fight for one of the belts. IBF give Hrgovic his go.
No, I
whoever
think
the number ones are in their things.
I think the IBF, they're pretty strict on their rules, aren't they? So you're fighting for this belt and you do it now.
There's number one and number two.
And you got a certain amount of days to get it across to fight, basically. So I think February, March, April, could be April, May.
Which gives them enough time to recover and should be about the time they should be fighting again.
But it all
especially Hrgovic, because he didn't really have a base skill.
But it depends on what happens. Because if, Hrgovic, he won't want another fight, Hrgovic, I don't think. He's quite a lazy boxer, isn't he?
That's why I said I was surprised.
He's a lazy boxer.
Maybe that's why he was smiling, because he was like, God, this is more like...
He'll wait. Because either way, he's going to fight Usyk, Fury, or AJ for the IBF belt. Fury won't fight him. Fury will vacate the belt.
I think if Usyk wins, he's going to... Yeah, I think he's just going to vacate boxing. It's like a mic drops that time then, isn't it? What else are you going to do? You've only got stuff to lose. You've got nothing to win. He gains nothing by beating any of those people.
But Hrgovic's mandatory challenge, he's been mandatory IBF challenger for a long time now. I don't want to go down that route like Dillian White did, was 1,000 days number one and waiting. You got it, and the IBF, like I say, are pretty good.
Well, I think he stepped out the way to allow this to happen. Yeah. The February event happens, and he's got his event here, so that he is next up. Yeah. So whatever happens, I think you're right. He's going to be there.
I think he's been paid quite a lot of money, Hrgovic.
Yeah, that's why he's smiling.
Mate, just step aside. What we'll do is we'll get you a really easy fight in Saudi, but we'll give you a bag of cash like this. And he's gone, yeah, why not?
I told you, smiling.
Yeah, clever man.
Well, to be fair, it's like you said. It's like you could be like what they done to Dillian White, isn't it? So you don't want that to happen.
No,
I think he
you've
deserves a bag of cash to keep, obviously, because he's missing out on a big fight opportunity at the belt. But I think, he needs to be given it. I think he's there. Joshua will obviously wants to be back there, and I think on that performance, he deserves a go. Zhang on his performances deserves to be around that conversation. The three are there. So, all right, Hrgovic we've done. Yeah, lest we speak about the other person who was there, who shall not be named again.
Well, there was one guy on that night that really surprised me, and he threw himself right up in the mix, in my
German
opinion.
called Kabayel.
Wow, what a guy.
Well, considering the other guy was a knockout artist and everything, do you think there was something wrong with him? Because he kept doing this, which
no,
you can't hear him. He was twitching his head.
I think what's happened is this.
I think that was the best surprise performance of the
Makhmudov.
Did you go for Kabayel?
Yeah.
Oh, good man. I think I had Makhmudov.
Makhmudov, I think he's one scary looking man. He's got no neck.
I think most people give up before they get in.
Yeah, this is what I was going to say. I think he beats his opponents before they get in the ring, whereas Kabayel wasn't beaten, wasn't scared, realised. I mean, my comments on...
That was one of the fights I enjoyed the most. It was a fantastic performance.
He's clumsy, he's too slow, didn't like body shots at all. Whereas Kabayel, I put down, he was faster, great footwork, really accurate. But his punch picking was fantastic from head to body.
A really good performance.
He got Makhmudov to bring his hands down and went straight back to the head. His hands come back up, he's straight back down to the body.
It was like a different class of boxing skills.
Yeah, it was. And Kabayel, fair play to you, mate.
Is in the mix now, I would say.
He's well in the mix. European champion. I'm just looking at the rankings. I don't know how up to date these rankings are, but he's not actually in the top 10 of a lot of them. But he's on the fringe, so 1 or 2 more fights, or 1 fight even. And he's right back up there. You've got to take Wilder out of it now.
Wilder's not there. I don't think he's in that top 3 mix, but he's with Parker. He's on that next step of they need 1 more fight. And then
the ring heavyweight rankings are Usyk number 1, Fury number 2. Usyk champion, Fury number 1, Joshua number 2, Wilder number 3.
Okay, yeah, but that was probably P5, so let's take him out of there.
Zhang number 4, Parker 5, Hrgovic 6.
Yep.
A little American called Anderson number 7, Joe Joyce number 8.
That should have been updated by now.
Sanchez number 9 and Wallin number 10. You see, that is not a top 10 that I would agree with at all.
Well, but half of them are correct. Half of them are.
Kabayel, I'd say, has earned, just on his performance alone, earned a shot at being up there.
I think so.
It was a really good. I was really impressed.
It was a really good game plan, executed really well, and the opposition didn't have. Makhmudov didn't know what to do. And I don't think he's ever needed to change his game plan. So.
Well, he's got that typical German, East European style, hasn't he? But with a little bit of flair added on. And as each round went past,
he just got better.
I mean, I gave him every round anyway, so.
I think that was one of the shocks, and that it was like Parkers. They grew more into their fights. They went along,
and I think Kabayel now but unfortunately for him, he goes in that avoided category.
Yeah, I was going to say he's a dangerous opponent category now. So it's like,
but he's put himself on the map. He's a name that I've never talked about before, but I will. I'm talking about him, and I
can't
will
remember who it is, and which is a bit brain fog, but I need to clear up. But I'm sure some of them they've sparred with him. I don't know, is it Joshua or something?
He seems to be quite good.
He's really good.
He seems to be quite pally with Joshua.
Yeah. It probably was for Joshua. I think he sparred with him for one of the Joshua's of the fight, and he goes, he's actually really good.
Like I say, his punch picking in his footwork, but like I say, Makhmudov looked extremely slow and clumsy.
It's whether he's made him look like that, or whether, because obviously I've only seen the highlights of the other fights. I don't know whether he's built up or whatever. And a lot of them, I think they were just beat before then. And here it looked like this is just like I hate to throw this reference in, but like in Game of Thrones, the mountain versus the other guy.
Yeah,
he just
it was.
completely.
I don't think you'll see Makhmudov back in the ring again anytime soon.
I think that when it's being worked out, it's hard to do.
Yeah, I don't think
now's got a game plan.
Yeah, I don't think.
And he couldn't change, and he couldn't add anything in.
I don't think
it's not like you've got more gears or more styles.
Kabayel.
He's right. I want to watch him again now.
I mean, I was excited about him. I'm really excited about him now. Who'd you throw him in with? He's 24-0. Let's have a little look. 24-0, 6'3", 67% knockout ratio.
That's quite good.
He hasn't been very active, to be fair. His last 5 fights have come over a period of 5 years and 8 months. He's fighting once a year.
Parker would be a good fight for him, Dubois and people like that, but he's too dangerous for Dubois.
Yeah, he's 31.
Parker's probably one of the other ones you want to fight. But I think once it gets sorted, I think he should be in the mix for one of the belts or a contender.
Look at this. Some potential future fights for Kabayel include Anthony Joshua, Joe Joyce, Tyson Fury, Tony Yoka and Marco Huck. I mean, forget about them last two. They should have retired a long time ago.
Well, Joshua, but I think he's pally. Parker's pally with Joshua, so I don't think they go fight amongst each other. But he's good. He'd be good against Zhang if he can do the same thing. Except I think Zhang's quite a lot better fighter than...
He's a European champion, isn't he?
Makhmudov, yeah.
So Kabayel's European champion now.
I think he needs another performance like that against somebody else who's a step up.
Or do these Saudis go, do you know what? Because I wrote it on the back.
Mm-hmm.
Do these Saudis go, right, it's AJ Hrgovic, Parker versus Dubois, Kabayel versus Zhang, or Kabayel versus Parker? You know, were they little semi-finals for the fight? You know,
I think he's a tough fight for whoever, and I think he'd be a good if he can do the same sort of stylistic thing against Zhang. But Zhang can punch and can box a lot more than he's a lot quicker than.
Problem with them Germans is, let's be honest, they don't travel out of Germany very often.
Yeah,
they stay in Germany.
He's done it here, and he has good performance.
I liked him. I'm going to say I'm a little bit of a fan of him. Look forward to his next fight.
I agree. I was surprised, but I expected Makhmudov to be better from what I'd heard.
Yeah,
I think what I've seen highlights.
Yeah, and I think if we'd have watched Makhmudov a little bit more, I think, like you say,
we'd have probably come up with that. I'd like to think so. Anyway,
he had that. I think he's had that Mike Tyson fear factor about him with most of his opponents.
And it's been removed now.
Yeah, he's scared the crap out. I mean, because if you look at him, you are scared.
It's like this, no neck.
Yeah. But he punches like that as well.
And Kabayel was in now, boom, boom, and he definitely didn't like the body shots.
He really didn't like the body shots, and it was great.
Yeah, it was a systematic breakdown of him. They've got a game plan. He executed it flawlessly. It's fantastic.
Yeah, great performance.
I really enjoyed that fight. That was good,
and it really sets up.
Well, I enjoyed. It wasn't really a fight. I enjoyed the performance by Kabayel because it was unexpected.
Yeah, but what it sets up is that take away the title fights in the heavyweight division. There's a lot of really good fights that you can be made now. Because another one on there was Sanchez Jr. Farr.
Well, to come back just before we jump on there, I think one of the things people moan about the event, I think what it's opened up is the Pandora's box of all. You get to see more of these heavyweights because we've always moaned, both on there and off on here, that they're not making these fights at this weight now. And the other divisions have started where you're getting these undisputeds, you're getting these good fights. But you can see now that people go, it's aboard. There's a lot of good fighters there with interesting skill sets that you would like to see match up. Because it's not just about the belts. There's the styles makes fights, to say a cliche. I think there's some interesting styles and fights there. Like we're guessing.
There's some fantastic fights there, and like I say, yeah, they might not be for titles, but
they're going to be there because I think that whatever happens in February, I think that either of them are going to vacate or retire or whatever.
Yeah, and we've said it before.
And then it'd be nice to get that list.
Yeah, you could have a super 6, a super 12. You get the 12 best heavyweights and have a knockout competition.
Well, a Muhammad Ali trophy in heavyweight would be the most 12, appropriate. No, 16 or 8 or whatever it is. But a Muhammad Ali trophy for the heavyweight would be the most appropriate way to have that trophy in, isn't it? A super, what is it called?
You got
the super set or whatever.
AJ, Hrgovic. I'm just going to name them very quickly. Parker, Dubois, Zhang, Kabayel, Sanchez.
Should we go into Sanchez and then we can do that?
Yeah.
Sanchez was a good performance.
Yeah, it was a good performance.
Is he Cuban? Sanchez was Colombian or something.
Impressed me, Sanchez.
He boxed really well.
He did box really well. I don't know whether he's 24-0 now, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Junior Far's no mug. 6'4". Oh, he's 31, Sanchez. I thought he was a bit older than that for some reason.
I think he said in one of the last ones, I looked it up, I meant to say, isn't he? He isn't 30 or 80. He's young. Yeah, he's at the right age, at a peaking time to be right in that mix as well.
Just trying to see if there's any rumours on who we would fight next.
But it was a good performance.
Yeah, it was a 7th round knockout against Junior Far. It was quite it was a good victory, good fight for him. He's got good, seems to have good power, good footwork. Nice variety of punches. Again, he throws himself right up there. I know he was on first, and maybe a lot of people didn't see it, but
it was a good performance against it, a journeyman, but one who's been around the block, who's dangerous, and he made him look dangerous. He made him look ordinary.
It was a good night.
It was a good boxing controlled performance,
and he's got a good.
I think he's got a good amateur
he's got a good knockout ratio as
because you could see that there's that slickness of the boxing that comes from that.
Yeah,
and then he's got he's got a good knockout ratio. But it doesn't look like he goes for knockouts. He boxes.
Yeah, he boxes well. He's got that Cuban
style, hasn't he?
Boxing,
which is quite good.
Nice. I think if he learns to plant his feet a bit more, he can get people out of there.
Well, that's what I meant by in the amateur style where they go for points rather than planting and hurting. So he doesn't look like he goes for knockouts per se, other than he gets them.
He can,
but he can definitely box.
Yeah, and like I say, it's another name that from the day of reckoning that you're going to remember.
And he should be in the list of.
Yeah, I think he's quite highly ranked by a lot of the governing bodies, Sanchez.
I think he's. You can see he's got slick boxing skills. Then it's just whatever how it comes up against.
Like I say, there's a lot of.
Far was just a filler, so let's. Nothing wrong with him, but it
was a good test for him, and
he's a big guy.
Like a junior Far, that's who you should be like. Daniel Dubois should have been fighting a few fights ago, that type of caliber.
They're the type of people he needs to get past, where they've got experience and things in ring IQ, and he needs to pick up those little tricks and not be thrown against world champions straight away. And I think even now, some of those fights would be good for him to get up.
Yeah, it would.
Because he's young enough to go through a year or two.
He's 25. He's the youngest out of the lot.
You normally get good, and this is when you're 27, 28. Yeah. So he's got.
Well, the heavyweight division, I'd say it's more in your 30s.
Yeah. Well, you peak then, isn't it? So if you start on that journey, so he's got time to have.
Yeah, he really has.
Those type of fights. I think he's in the list. Have we missed any of the heavyweights now? Have we done?
No, that was all the heavyweights, to be fair.
So, yeah, I think that's the thing. Like you said, then there's a fair few fights and matchups to be made. Obviously, depending on what, we'll have a video about the February fight, but...
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I can name 10 heavyweights now that I'm excited to see fight. And I think
that's the best thing of the day, right? I think, is brought it out. We've got to see them in decent fights, in a decent stage. Not just on the undercard where you don't really bother, you're just watching
Don't carry on, get back out there, fight the more big names.
Super serious, that's the word. They could have a super serious to make contenders. Can't they, with but 4 of them and have 2 fights?
Mr. Turkey from Saudi, I'm sure he's got
hopefully they've got a good plan.
I think he's got a couple of plans for next year already. I mean, because I'd say Day of Reckoning was a massive success. I don't know what the pay-per-view buys were yet.
Looked them up, isn't it?
Let's have a look. How many?
And then should we move on to the other two not in heavyweight fights? So the first one, because it was the quickest, Cruiserweight, Jai Opetaia. The man is a beast.
He's my new monster. This guy is special.
We didn't really get to see much of the other guy.
No.
I forgot his name as well. Because he basically set him up from the first part. He's got that nice bounce, in, out, body shot, got him to load his hands, bang, it's all over. But the menacing part is that look he has in his eyes when the guy was on the floor.
I mean, I've seen Opetaia fight a few times now, and Eddie Hearn raves about him. This guy means business. He really, really, really does.
Question, he got stripped of his belt, innit? I think that's a disgrace, don't you think?
Yes, I do. And I think we discussed
Because is it fighting Marius Braidis?
Yeah, I think we discussed it in the last cast, didn't we? I
think that was a close fight, though, wasn't it?
Basically what happened was the Marius Braidis fight was made for February, March. Because that's the earliest Marius Braidis could fight.
Mm-hmm.
All agreed, signed. This fight come up for Opetaia. He went to Braidis and said, do you mind if we fight him? Braidis said, no, not a problem. That's fine. But the IBF were like, no, your next fight is... Which, I get... I understand that. That's your next fight. But if Marius Braidis can't fight till February, March anyway, and as the fight is signed and agreed, what's the issue?
Yeah.
So, and I feel sorry for Opetaia in that aspect, but he'll get that belt back.
Oh, I'd be fairly confident of that.
I don't think there's anyone in the cruiserweight division.
I think he was a bad man anyway, and I think that's made him even worse.
Yeah, he's
even
nasty
badder.
Man. Nasty. His footwork was superb. Sorry, I'm just
yeah.
Seeing
so there wasn't much in the fight. It was a fantastic setup, and his opponent dropped his arms, and bang, it was all over.
I mean, the guy's got power. He's got speed.
He's got power in both hands. He's got good movement, great footwork.
He's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
He's a nice guy though as well. Outside the ring.
But there's a few of them seem to be like that. Like the Monster is a really nice guy outside the ring. He looks like a pop star, and it's like a volcano.
Let's have a look. Oh, sorry, just quickly go into this. No, sorry, got them wrong.
So his next fight's probably going to be Braidis again, or for the belt. Or
I think the Braidis fight's still there, or unless Braidis is fighting for the IBF belt against someone else now.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. It's a weird one. I'll have to speak to my mate Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, find out. Well, I think we'll do an episode on cruiserweights and stuff anyway, not Opetaia, because I think we need to do.
Cruiserweights
we can have a look a bit more at who the opposition is, isn't it, for that?
Yeah.
And light heavyweight, because obviously we've got a fight coming up for that, which will probably decide this guy's fight. So Bivol, what did you think? Bivol and Lyndon Arthur, Dmitry Bivol and Lyndon Arthur.
Fantastic performance from Bivol. Arthur did well to stay in there, to be fair. Bivol's punch variety and footwork, it's a little bit like Usyk. He just wears you out.
Well, that's why I have him on my pound for pound list, isn't it? Even though he doesn't fight in other things, I think he should be high up there because of his technical. Well, because you've seen it against Canelo, where it's just, he just bamboozled Canelo, which isn't an easy thing to do. And here it was the same thing. I mean, yeah, credit to Lyndon Arthur for staying in there, because I think Bivol was trying to get him out, but he still stayed disciplined and stuck to the plan and did.
I don't think Bivol's got the power, has he?
Well, allegedly his hand is hurt or something, so he wasn't going full pelt. It didn't look like that from his performance, but, And I think Lyndon Arthur did do quite well defensively and staying away from getting hit proper clean, but he did get hit a lot.
I enjoyed the fight. I like watching Bivol anyway.
See, if we go for performance, I think that was the best technical performance of anybody on the night, just because it was one-sided technical performance. Even though you're giving credit to Lyndon Arthur because he stayed in there, he was quite good in movement and stuff. But it was a one-way contest in terms of if he was scoring the points.
Bivol, I don't think he likes body shots, though, Bivol.
Don't think anybody likes body shots.
I know, but
we don't like body shots.
I think...
Even in a way, didn't like the body shots from Palace. So...
I think it showed a good boxer against an elite boxer.
Yeah.
That there is a difference. I think Bivol, he's just got to fight better Biev or Callum Smith, hasn't he?
I think technically he's the best at light heavyweight, technically. But Callum Smith has got some power and he's got a height and reach advantage, I think. And Beterbiev is a beast. And his 100% knockout ratio makes him very, very, very dangerous. And I think he's a better boxer than what his 100% ratio gives him. And obviously we are going to do a review of a Callum Smith and Beterbiev fight.
Bivol kind of reminds me a little bit like Joe Calzaghe.
But isn't Joe Calzaghe one of your favourite boxers?
Yeah. But he hasn't like got the power that Calzaghe had, really. But his punch selection is just superb.
Do you think it's because he doesn't go for that? Because in his first fight, he was knocking people out. He's got about 11 knockouts in his 21, 22 fights. And I think most of them, 8, 9 or 10 of them came in his first few fights. And then he sort of switched and it's gone more technical.
I don't know, is the honest answer. Or maybe because he's had a hand injury, hasn't he?
I think that's what they're saying, he's recovering. So he isn't put like 100% power into
again,
his
like
punches.
Joe Calzaghe.
Because technically he's brilliant.
Technically,
he's brilliant.
I'll agree
Footwork,
with you.
And, everything, his punch
His
variety,
speed.
his speed is
But
fantastic.
he gets caught, though.
Yeah.
He did get caught a few times. So I think, but I
It's
don't know.
hard to catch clean. But
I don't know whether
that's
that's a little bit of ring rust.
Yeah, well, I was going to say it's a little bit of ring rust, and I think a little bit he's trying to get him to come out, open up a bit.
I think he's the type of fighter though. He needs to stay active, Bivol.
Yeah.
He really needs to stay active. 3-4 fights a year type of fighter. I don't think he ever moves up to cruiserweight.
No. I think he's a light heavyweight.
I think he's at light heavyweight. He stays at light heavyweight. He looks lean as well.
Yeah.
I don't think he goes down to super middleweight. I think, people have talked about...
To move in weight, you've got to have that power, the banging power.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's got that banging power. And not to say that I don't think he's capable of knockouts. I think he is at light heavyweight. But I don't think he's got the knockout power. Because obviously he bamboozled Canelo and hurt him. So he's got power. It's like that Usyk power where you just bang, 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 bang.
A great position where he's going to fight Beterbiev or Callum Smith next.
Yeah.
That fight doesn't materialise and he's sitting there one day and goes, do you know what? I'm a bit skinned. I need 10 or 15 million in the bank. Hello, Canelo. Do you fancy that rematch?
Yeah.
Because he's always got that to fall back on. So, like I say, he's in, and yeah, he might have won it, but you'd still watch Canelo Bivol again.
Yeah. Well, you always want to watch Canelo.
Yeah, and you always want to watch Bivol now.
And since then, I've always wanted to watch Bivol.
So Bivol is in a great position at the, and there's some good light heavyweights. Like I say, you got Callum Smith, Beterbiev. I think coming up in January or February, you've got...
He's still got a bit of age on his side because he's not that old.
Yeah.
Beterbiev is getting older. I don't think either Beterbiev or Callum Smith or any of the other light heavyweights are technically as gifted as
No,
Bivol
but like I say, you've got...
But they've got other dangers.
Joshua
other assets.
Boatsi's fighting Dan Aziz. I know Joshua...
Which is coming up fairly soon.
Yeah, Joshua Boatsi was offered the Bivol fight last year or the year before. So there are some good fights out there for him at light heavyweight.
But I think they're going. I think both him and Beterbiev want to go for they want to get undisputed.
But you keep saying Beterbiev. Callum Smith's going to destroy Beterbiev.
I didn't say that was going to happen. I said that's what in
letting
there
you know.
Because I was watching an interview with Beterbiev, isn't it? Which is just funny.
Callum Smith will destroy him.
No. He's obviously that's what he said. He goes, I'm only concentrate on fight with Callum Smith, and He goes, but yeah, these people make the names because there was people they kept asking him about Canelo and Benavides and stuff, and he goes, they may want me, if they come ask me, I may fight them, but I don't ask for anybody else. I'm focused on Smith.
There's a lot of British fighters up there,
No, there's a lot of other up and coming people coming up to that list.
The Joshua Buatsi Dan Aziz fight, again, like I said, we will cover that on a separate podcast, is a really interesting fight, both undefeated. Well,
should we call this one here? Because obviously we're going to do an episode on Better BF and Callum Smith. That's coming up fairly soon.
Yeah, Bivol, for me.
And I think we can expand on Bivol there. But yeah, it was a great performance.
It was a great performance.
A shame he didn't get a knockout, but I think
expected of it. Lyndon often did
got a good payday and did well and stayed in the fight.
Yeah. And he can go back down to British European level, no problem. To be honest, Lyndon Arthur can go and fight the likes of Buatsi, Dan Aziz, have a rematch with Anthony Yard.
He's still got shame in losing.
No, he's still got big fights there.
Bivol is special as well in his technical ability.
So
he did well to stay in there. He's kept it down to not getting hurt too much. He got bombarded with shots, but he took them well. He didn't get clean. He rolled them. He did them. He went in, and then there was bits where he's come on, bring some more.
So okay, quick 2 questions. Who was your surprise fighter a day of reckoning?
Kabayel performance was a surprise performance.
And who were you most impressed by?
Parker, for the way he took a Wilder.
But
I think in that there was... Well, Kabayel as well was both.
Yeah.
Because it was the most... I think that was the more surprise one than the other one.
Very good.
But I think Parker, not because Wilder was basically not there, but the game plan. I think the way to stick into it is discipline, and he was more like his old self.
Nice.
Because Joshua expected to be back because he was quiet and stuff. Yeah. So whilst there was a good performance, I wasn't surprised. I was expecting. It's still good to see, and I think he was a little bit better than I expected. What about you? What do you think? Best performance first, and then
the best performance for me was Joshua.
Well, it wasn't. What did you ask me? The surprise performance.
The surprise performance. Opetaia, because I thought it was going to be.
I thought that would go longer. Like it was just,
and it was a surprise that he knocked him out that quick.
But I think he was a bit angry that the IBF had taken his belt.
I like I say, I'm a fan of Opetaia, so I shouldn't be surprised by him. But I was. Just on how quick
I expected him to win, but I think we both expected the fight to go a bit longer. But I wasn't shocked when he won like that. Kabayel was the one that was more like shocking to me. It was more like a bigger surprise.
Yeah, Kabayel was. He's the one.
Wilder's performance was like one of the big surprises because I expected them to. I did have a in the back of my mind up. Parker can beat him because Parker, if he's old, Parker can.
Yeah,
and I think that's why I rate his performance. Dubois was a good performance. I think coming through, he started well, which I expected him to. Then I thought he might fall away, like we said, and then he come back.
You enjoyed the show.
Hrgovic was just that was expected. That's not the thing.
Would you?
Sanchez was a good performance, but again, we expected him to win.
Would you have another day of reckoning?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Was
maybe you don't need 8 fights, but even 4 of that level
was
would
it
be
worth 1999
all day long, all year long, all time.
Okay.
Considering we pay that for one fight, and we don't, and occasionally get the undercard one and the top fighter being decent. True. You don't know who most of the other people are. They're not great. We normally don't watch them. So and you're paying £20 for that, $19.95 for that. I think for 8 fights, if it's £2.50 a fight or £2 whatever, 49, whatever that works out to, I think that's a bargain.
You know what?
In this current pricing, that's a bargain.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, because there was at least 4 great fights there that are worth top billing, I think.
Yeah.
So it's a £5 a fight. If you ignore the others, were bonus undercard fights.
Imagine,
it's worth it to see. You'd pay that to watch Joshua fight like that. That was good.
No, I agree. Totally agree with you, 100%. And
okay, thanks very much for listening.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Who can people fight next? Who would you like to see them fight next?
Yeah, that's what I'm interested in.
Comments, like, and all the usual goodness. And we'll see you in the next one.
Behind closed doors, I'm a fool.